I nearly bled out giving birth to my son, and my sister-in-law had the nerve to say my C-section was just me being weak because I didn't prepare or trust my body enough. Posted by you/prestigious ICE 7293. I, 28F, had my son, Kyson, 4 months ago. At 22 weeks, I was diagnosed with partial placenta previa, and we were hoping and praying it would resolve. But at 28 weeks, I was told I had complete placenta previa. This news hurt because I had a birth plan, but my doctor still closely monitored it, even though he made it clear there might be less chance of it resolving and that I might have a C-section. At 35 weeks, I had heavy bleeding, so I delivered my beautiful baby boy through an emergency C-section. My son was in the NICU for 2 weeks before we got to go home. 2 weeks ago, there was a family party at my mother-in-law's house. I was sitting with the ladies when Kyson started crying, so I breastfed him while chatting. Nobody had a problem with that. After that, I handed him to my sister-in-law since she wanted to play with him. While she was holding him, she said something. They started talking about my sister-in-law's labor, and she said it was a breeze. I said, "Oh, that's nice. I hope to have a natural birth with my second someday." Then she said, "A natural birth needs preparation during the whole pregnancy." She went on to say, "You never worked out or got active much." I told her it was because of the placenta previa situation. This woman literally said, "That's not an excuse though. I had round ligament pain, and I still managed to keep active." I told her I was kept on bed rest for half my pregnancy and had too many hospital visits, so I didn't want to do anything to risk putting myself in danger. Then she said, "Your body can feel the nerves and it reads accordingly. You should have relaxed and let nature take its course. That's how natural births work." The C-section was avoidable. I told her to FCK herself, took my baby out of her arms, and went to my husband. We left after that. Apparently, she told anyone who asked where I was that I got sensitive and left the party. A few days later, she asked to see Kyson, and I said I wasn't comfortable being around her at the moment. She accused me of weaponizing my son and using him to hurt her. Note, the whole pregnancy she kept on giving unsolicited advice on how to fix the placenta previa, and I feel like she thinks that if I had listened to her, I would have had Kyson naturally. I felt sad for a few weeks after birth because my birth plan didn't go how I wanted it to. These feelings just feel like they've resurfaced, to be honest. I thought I was okay. Am I the jerk for grabbing him and not agreeing to visit her? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Sister-in-law can stay in her judgmental bubble by herself. I would have humiliated her at the party by asking why she thought she knew more than the doctors who gave you the advice. And ask her where she got her medical degree from, because you'd like to tell people not to attend that university since clearly their candidates are both ignorant and downright stupid with a capital S. Sonky mommies are the worst. Ops response. She hates C-section births, formula, etc. She's that type. Commenter 2. She sounds like an idiot. What part of bed rest did she not understand? I went through a placenta abruption, almost died and almost lost my baby. The first thing my doctor said to me once I was coherent enough to hear it was, "You did nothing wrong." If someone said to me what she said to you after what I went through, and in the same token, what you went through, I don't know if I could ever speak to them again. What she said was cruel, vile, and more importantly, completely false. Ops response. I'm so sorry about the placenta abruption, so glad you and baby are okay. It was so hurtful, especially since she knows how much I wanted to have a natural delivery. Commenter 3. Nobody's giving out medals for having natural births, and people need to stop looking down on C-section births like it's a failing of some kind. You did what was advised based on professional opinion for the health and safety of you and your child. You are not weaponizing anything, she is just playing victim, and you don't need to be around this toxic attitude. If she doesn't apologize or you can't come to a point where you are comfortable to be around her, just keep enjoying your baby and motherhood without this negative energy. Ops response. They see a C-section as easy, but it's really not. Thank you, I'm prioritizing my mental health and my son. Commenter 4. Wow, comparing round ligament pain, something every pregnant woman feels, to placenta previa, which legit forces you to have no choice but to limit activity, is truly insane. If she said this to your face, I can only imagine what they all say behind your back. I'd send her and your mother-in-law info on placenta previa and why you couldn't work out. Tell your sister-in-law you no longer want to be around someone like her, and how hurtful it was to demonize a condition you had no control over that could have cost you and your son your lives. She's the type who'd give your baby something he's allergic to because she thinks you're exaggerating or believes he needs to grow out of the allergy. I would not feel safe around her. Ops response. When we first told her about the diagnosis, I even gave her factual info, but she's just stubborn. She says science makes pregnancy more complicated than it's supposed to be since it's a natural thing. She doesn't babysit him, and neither does my mother-in-law. Commenter 5. Is sister-in-law a doctor and anti-vaxxer? Ops response. No, she's an accountant. Surprisingly, she vaccinates. But she hates epidurals, iPad kids, eats only organic food, etc. Update 7 hours later. I made my post hours ago, and I am so overwhelmed by the amount of support and kindness I've received from everyone in the comments. When I told my husband about what happened, I didn't like his reaction. I told him exactly what occurred, and he said, I don't want to interfere in women's arguments, babe. I then told him that he could at least ask his sister to be sensitive about my experience, and he said, why don't you talk to my mom about it so she can sit you two down and have a mature discussion? My husband knows that my sister-in-law is the apple of my mother-in-law's eye, so she would side with her. There has never been a need for my mother-in-law to pick sides, but if there ever was, we all know whom she would choose. I told him that I would feel more comfortable if he were there, but he said it's a birth thing, so women should discuss it. I mentioned in a comment on the original post that my husband suggested therapy. He feels that the only reason I was offended by my sister-in-law is because I haven't gotten over the fact that I had an emergency C-section. I mean, he's right, but I just really want him to talk to his sister. Is that so wrong? I want his support and for him to make things clear to her. If you're wondering whether I have a support system like family, no, I don't. My parents are in a different country, and I live in my husband's home country. I do have a few friends. That's why I appreciate all your kind comments, they truly mean a lot to me. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. It's not a woman's birth thing. It's my birth thing, and you're my partner. That means when your family acts like jerks toward me, you need to be the one to step between us and tell them to back the FCK off. I don't care what her reasons are. I've told her flat out not to do a thing, and she keeps doing it. If my dad or brother came over and told you how you're doing parenting wrong, how you're a failure as a husband and a father, how would you feel if I just told you to talk to my daddy about my brother picking on you, instead of standing up for you? You're making me feel like you agree with everything she's saying, and that's making me rethink how this relationship is going. And if I feel like you can actually protect and provide for me. You're not even protecting me from your family. That's pretty terrible. Ops response. He says his hands are tied, but again, no one wants me to stand up to my sister-in-law or offend her. He also expressed his displeasure about my post. Commenter. Because it makes him look bad. His hands are tied by himself. No one's holding him down. He's choosing his family over the one he's making with you. That speaks pretty loud. Do you want to be a part of our family, or do you want to be a weekend dad? Because I clearly can't trust your judgment or trust you in general, if you keep letting your family harass me. Your mom is not my effing moderator. She's not my mom. She's also not without fault. There's a bias there. Where do you think your sister gets it? I'm not playing a game with someone over who can parent my child best. Between me and your sister, my say is the final one. If you can't back me up, then I think you're making it pretty clear where I stand, and what I should do moving forward. Ops response. I feel so stupid because he's been doing this since we got married. I should have established boundaries back then, maybe then I wouldn't be on Reddit asking for help. I have to have a talk with him and hopefully, he hears me out. Thank you for your advice. Commenter 2. I would very seriously consider leaving your husband to his family and taking the baby home to your own parents for a few months, or years. If your husband wants to come move to you, that's fine. But he needs to sit down with your dad and talk to your dad, because that's men's business. And your dad will rip him a new one. Ops response. My parents are back home in our country, so my in-laws are the only family I have here. He can't sit with my dad because my dad doesn't like him, he tolerates him and is civil, but he's not fond of him. Second update 4 days later. Hey everyone, first off I would like to thank you all for the support I received on my 2 other posts. The love and kindness you showed me were more than appreciated, and they gave me the courage to do what I did today. I saw some comments saying I named my son a tragedy. My husband and I agreed that I would pick the first name and he would pick the middle name, so we both got to name him. If you don't like the name, then I don't know how to help you with that. Besides, I didn't want to use his real first name in the post, so I used his other name, Kyson. I now realize I could have just used a fake name. Today, a lot happened. I talked to my sister-in-law and mother-in-law, and I also talked to my husband. It went terribly. My talk with my sister-in-law and mother-in-law took place at my mother-in-law's house around 10 a.m. I got there, and they were already present. I expected my husband to come with me, but he didn't. My sister-in-law got straight to the point and asked me why I was so upset with her. I reminded her of everything she said to me, and she replied, "Was I wrong though? You're just offended that I spoke the truth." I remembered all the advice I got from your comments and calmly explained what I had learned about placenta previa and her misinformation. I also told her about the difference between round ligament pain and placenta previa, and what I personally went through. She rolled her eyes and said, "That's what doctors want so they can make money off of C-sections." My mother-in-law, the whole time, sat there defending her and telling me not to take it to heart, while my sister-in-law doubled down on everything she said. She even called me incompetent and sensitive. I responded with a few choice words and began to walk out. I was baby-wearing Kyson at the time. She grabbed my arm and pulled me back, saying she wasn't done talking and that I was walking away with her nephew. I told her to let me go or I'd get her arrested for handling me like that, so she let go. I told them when they're ready to behave like adults, they can see Kyson. I was so scared to stand up for myself, but I did it. My hands were shaking. I got home, and my husband wasn't there, so I got Kyson to nap and called my dad. I told him everything, and he was furious. He told me to either move out or fly back home. I said I needed to talk to my husband first and would update him afterward. When my husband got home later that afternoon, I was breastfeeding. He came into the living room and asked how the meeting went. I could tell he was in a bad mood. I told him it went badly, and he said, "Oh, I know." He told me his mother was hurt by my disrespect. I explained how they behaved, and he told me I was basically calling his mother a liar. Apparently, his mother told him I was screaming and shouting, hysterical even, and that I rattled Kyson. My sister-in-law backed her up, basically a tag team. I told him what actually happened, and he said all this drama wouldn't be happening if I hadn't overreacted to a few comments at the party. I was shocked. I told him I thought he was supposed to defend me, and he said he couldn't ruin his relationship with his family because of my insecurities. I told him I would leave with my son and go to people who actually care about me, and that my dad would book my flight. I walked away with Kyson, and he grabbed my arm, saying his son was going nowhere. He told me he was tired of my constant complaints about his family. He said if I was still hurt by those comments, maybe I was the problem and needed to fix it. He brought up a few past experiences with his family that I'd rather not mention. At this point, it got loud and Kyson started crying, so I told my husband to calm down. He didn't. Let's just say the living room wall understood how angry he was. I told him I wanted to go somewhere I felt safe. I left with Kyson, and we are currently staying in a hotel. I want to move to another city and start fresh. I can request a job transfer. My husband expresses himself audibly when angry, but what happened afterward was shocking. He called me and asked me to come home, saying he was just frustrated. He knows about this account and the posts, so he saw the comments I got. He messaged me saying I let strangers on the internet get into my head and convinced me to turn against his family. He said he felt torn between supporting his sister and supporting me, and I couldn't blame him for not knowing which side to take. I told him I don't want Kyson to grow up in such an environment and stopped replying. I don't know if I was dramatic or if I did too much. I still don't understand why he got so angry or why he reacted that way. I also don't understand why his mom and sister lied to him. There's a lot of uncertainty right now, but Kyson and I are safe. I plan to talk to a lawyer about the next steps. I feel at peace. I've gone through so much in my 5 years of marriage, and now I want to raise my son in a healthy environment. Thank you all for the support, truly. Top/relevant comments. Ops husband downvoted. I'm sick of this. Every account I make gets deleted, and it's because nobody wants to hear my side. Redacted. I hope you're happy breaking up your own family because of these strangers. You clearly enjoy strangers on the internet calling me vile names. Please unblock me. I still deserve to see my son. Ops response. Don't say my name on a public app. Yes, I am happy, because I am safe. Stop posting stories trying to get attention. You were barely there when I was carrying Kyson, and now you suddenly want to see him? If I were to list everything you've done to me, and everything you allowed your sister to do, Reddit wouldn't allow it. Just remind your sister that I still have a burn mark. I stayed through all of that. Please, stop embarrassing yourself. Commenter 2. He deleted it all before I got to read his comments. Did anyone screenshot them, or can someone fill me in, please? Commenter 3. The gist is, he was using several throwaway accounts to harass Op and share her real information online. He implied Reddit was preventing him from explaining his totally reasonable but somehow unexplainable side of the story, apparently because his wife convinced them to, which was especially unhinged. He insisted that his side would somehow justify why he and his sister were completely right to abuse his wife, even though he had the opportunity to explain his so-called legitimate reasons. He was also whining that she made his abuse public online when he would have preferred she just took it quietly. There was another account with very similar writing that defended the husband without offering any real explanation. It may have been his real account, which was full of bigotry, especially toward women. Presumably, he stopped once he realized that if he doxes his ex-wife, he's also doxing himself as a wife abuser to all of Reddit. Commenter 4. Would you mind telling us what country you're in and which country your family is in? It might help. Some of us may be familiar with the laws there and could offer more specific advice. Ops response. South Africa. Commenter 4. Is that where you are, or where your family is? It might help you get better legal advice if you update the original post with both your current location and where your family is. For example, I'm in the US and don't know anything about the laws in South Africa. There are a lot of people rooting for you, sending hugs from an internet stranger. Ops response. My parents are in the Philippines. Thank you so much for your support, it really means a lot. Third update 1 day later. Hi everyone, I want to thank you for the support I received on my last post, it really meant a lot to me. I didn't reply to all your comments, but I saw most of them and I truly appreciate all the advice I received. This will be my last update for a few months. I'll post a final update maybe around November or December. Happy, belated, Father's Day to all the wonderful dads out there, biological or not, with kids or not, you are all amazing. So, the police took my statement and I showed them the bruising. They opened a file for my case. They spoke to my husband and sister-in-law, advising them to keep their distance. I plan to apply for a protection order so they won't come near Kyson and me. Since their talk with the police, my sister-in-law, husband, and mother-in-law have not contacted me. As for our marriage, it's definitely over. Since I'm a foreigner, I can't just pack up and leave, especially since we have a child together. I would need his father's consent to leave the country, and we all know he's not going to give that. I spoke to a lawyer about my options and the laws around domestic violence, travel, and custody. Legal action is going to take time. The protection order might take a few weeks. Since I want to leave the country and revoke his parental rights, I have to prove domestic violence, and that he's unfit and potentially a danger to Kyson. Kyson also needs a passport. The whole legal process is going to take time, months, realistically. If my husband contests anything, it will take even longer. I was told it could take 6 months or more to fully sort out custody and attain permission to leave the country with Kyson. It's not going to be fast, but I'm willing to be patient if it means safety for my son and me. The good news is my parents and brothers are flying in, they'll arrive at the end of this week. So yesterday, I met with the police and a lawyer, and I also moved in with a friend and her husband. My dad and brothers said they want to talk to my husband, soon-to-be ex, about men's stuff. I don't think that's a great idea. The stress of everything has caused my milk supply to drop significantly. In my first post, I mentioned in the comments that it was already low, but now it's gotten worse. I really want to be able to fully feed my baby, and I'm trying so hard to stay hydrated and eat well. I need sleep. Kyson has also been very fussy. This update might be all over the place, but I've made progress. Hopefully, in a few months, I'll be posting a great update from my parents' house. I didn't get everything done, but I'm working through it, one step at a time. I might not respond to all your comments, but I promise I see your advice and appreciate it deeply. Thank you for all the support. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. All I could hear when reading what your soon-to-be ex-husband said was, "Wah wah wah, I'm a mommy's boy who wants his bottle, wah wah wah." Good for you, Up, who needs that crap? Op's response. Funny thing is, his mom doesn't even like him that much. I don't get how he's a mama's boy when she doesn't even like him. Commenter 2. Stay strong and keep your head up. While you do need to listen to your lawyer, don't forget to do your own research as well. Stay patient and don't give up. And again, document everything. I believe everything will work out for you and Kyson, and that you'll be home with your family by Christmas. All the happy, positive, healing, helping, whatever you need, thoughts, vibes, and prayers, whatever you believe in, are headed your way. I also want to add, please don't forget that it's okay to still love this man. It's okay to wish things were different. It's okay for your heart to hurt and to grieve what you thought you had. It's okay not to fully hate him or even be mad at him. It's okay to have a mix of contradictory emotions. Allow yourself to feel them and work through them. Don't hide from your feelings or feel guilty about any of them. It's also okay not to know what to feel or to feel numb. Just don't let yourself stay numb for too long. This is another reason a therapist is so important. You are going through so much, and I know it's not fair. I really wish I had words that could make any of it better. I may not know you, but I do know you're strong and brave. I know you can face this head on and do what's necessary to make your life, and your son's life, safe and happy. Don't give up. When things get hard, just remember to breathe and tell yourself, I've got this. I can do it. Also, please remember to take care of yourself. So many people in your situation put themselves last, I understand why. Your child comes first, and so much energy goes into the fight, you tell yourself you can wait or go without. But you need to take care of yourself in order to take care of your son and everything else. You are just as important. Your needs are just as important. Ops response. Oh my God, you don't understand how much that second paragraph means to me. Thank you so much. I will heal and be okay someday.